Hello, I'm Jason with the Honest Finance channel, and today I want to talk to you guys about 5 ways you can get better gas mileage in your car. Now obviously the car you drive has everything to do with fuel economy. Like if you drive a Prius, you're going to get better gas mileage than you do if you drive a truck. But these steps can be applicable to any car, so follow them and you'll at least get the best gas mileage that you can out of the car that you're driving. The first step to getting better gas mileage in your car is your tires. So basically when your tires roll, they create resistance on the road. Therefore, you've got to have a few things taken care of on your tires to get the best fuel economy on the road. The first thing you got to make sure with your tires is that they're balanced and they're aligned. The problem is that if you're trying to drive straight, but your wheels are turned, then you're going to create a lot of resistance trying to go in that direction. But when your wheels are aligned, then if you go straight, everything else is straight, creating the least amount of resistance possible. So that's the first thing you got to do with your tires, is make sure they're balanced and aligned. The last thing you've got to pay attention to with your tires is the inflation of your tires. You've got to keep them properly inflated to keep the least amount of resistance. If you go driving and your wheels are underinflated, then you're going to lose a lot of gas mileage because you're creating more resistance. A lot of guys will say to overinflate your tires to get better fuel economy, but I don't agree with that because it's unsafe and your tires aren't going to wear evenly. Just open your driver's side door and look for the cold tire pressure. It doesn't mean your tires have to be cold to get this reading. It just means that the car has to be sitting for a while. You can't just check the pressure right after you've driven on the road and expect the tire pressure to be accurate. Wait a while for your tires to be cold and then check the cold tire pressure. I bought this tire pressure sensor on the internet and it's really helpful. It's digital and it's pretty accurate, so I would recommend something like this. I'll put a link to it in the description. It's like 10 to 15 bucks, I think. Anyway, so with tires, just keep them balanced, aligned, and inflated. The second way to get better gas mileage is your air filter. Your engine requires air to breathe, and air filters keep the air clean that goes into the engine. When your air filter's clogged or dirty, it's a lot harder for the air to get through. Therefore, the engine has to work harder to produce the same results. You're going to have to replace your air filter every 6 to 12 months anyways, so I recommend getting one of these reusable ones. This is an AEM brand air filter, which I recommend because it doesn't require oil. The cool thing about these is all you do is rinse them out, clean them up with the special cleaner, and then put them back in your car. Honestly, I don't think a lot of us know how to replace air filters, and you really should learn how because it only takes a couple minutes. I'll quickly show you outside how to take it out and how to put a new one in. I'll put a link to it in the description. See? It's not very hard. Number 3 is your spark plugs. Your spark plugs typically need to be replaced every 30 to 100,000 miles. And the big deal with the spark plugs is that if you don't replace them when you're supposed to, you can really hurt your engine and you'll get far worse fuel economy. So just make sure your spark plugs are properly maintained and you'll get the best gas mileage that you can out of your car. Number 4, take out your extra stuff. So if you've got a bunch of junk in your trunk, take it out if you don't need it. On an average size sedan, you'll lose about 2% in gas mileage for every 100 pounds of extra stuff that you have. Technically your gas does weigh a lot, but I still recommend to have your tank all the way full. And that's just because it's a good practice to be prepared. But if you do want your car to weigh less, then less fuel means less weight. And lastly, the grade of fuel you choose actually has a lot to do with your gas mileage. Your car manufacturer has a recommended fuel grade inside the manual. If the manual says that your car requires 87 octane, then just use 87 octane. If you go down a grade, you are going to be losing fuel economy and you're going to have knocking in your engine. If it says that it'll run better on premium gas, but it's not required, then go ahead and use premium gas if you really want to. It's just your choice. Just remember the key differences between required and recommended. The big one with fuel consumption though is E85. E85 gas is made up of 85% ethanol and 15% gasoline. Ethanol has about a third less energy than gasoline. So when you do the math on E85, you're actually losing about 25% in energy because of the ethanol. So you're always going to get 25% less gas mileage using E85. Here's the thing though, E85 tends to be a lot cheaper, but it's got to be at least 25% cheaper according to this math for it to actually be worth it in your car. And make sure that your car can actually use E85. There's a lot of cars that can't, so make sure if you're going to be using E85 gas that you check your owner's manual and make sure that your car can use it. Most cars can run up to 10% ethanol, but that's definitely not 85% ethanol, so make sure. And those are the 5 steps to better fuel economy. Just remember to keep your tires balanced, aligned, and properly inflated. And make sure your air filter is nice and clean and your spark plugs are well maintained. Get rid of all the junk in your car and make sure that you're using the right fuel grade. And if you do decide to use E85 gas, just make sure that it's at least 25% cheaper so that it's worth it for the gas mileage loss. I'm Jason with the Honest Finance channel. If you did find this video helpful, then feel free to subscribe.